All right, let's move back to the AFC here, Reagan. The game of the weekend. The Bills take care of business 27-25. They're now 10-0. No, 9-0. 9-0 at home this year. They only had 8 home games regular season, not 9. But there you go. No, they won the first round. I'm an idiot. They are 10-0. 10-0 at home. 10-0 at home. Josh Allen, talked about earlier, only threw for $127, 16-22. Very close to Jalen Hurts' stat line. Was only sacked once, so that's the recipe for Buffalo. Keep that going. You got a tough test with Kansas City, though, this weekend. James Cook, 17 for 67. It's solid. Josh Allen just spread the ball around. Khalil Shakir, 6 for 67. Other than that, their next highest receiver is 15 yards. So not a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Lamar Jackson threw for 254, 2 touchdowns, a pick. He added 39 yards on the ground. Did not have a single designed quarterback run, like a sweep or a QB draw. It was all scrambles for Lamar, which was interesting. And a lot of people are bringing up what happened last year, where they fell short in the postseason in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, where they ultimately abandoned the run and just threw the ball the entire game, and it's not what got them there. Yeah, Lamar was so good as a passer this year. Interesting, though, he wasn't used more as a runner in this one against Buffalo. But Derrick Henry had 16 for 84 and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely had a touchdown. Rashad Bateman had a touchdown. They both had nice games. Andrews had 61 yards. Of course, the fumble, though. The drop 2. Bit him in the ass. It was the turnovers, though, for Baltimore. The bad Lamar pick. The bad fumble. We touched on it earlier. Baltimore falls short yet again, man. What's going to take for this team to get over the hump? And what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, my first thoughts are that, for those of you who are blaming Mark Andrew, casual. I mean, this game, if I'm pointing the finger at anyone, it's on Lamar, and everyone's like, oh, he played so good in the second half. Yeah, I mean, half the reason he played so good was because Buffalo was kind of like, hey, let's take our foot off the gas pedal. Like, we're in control here. We'll let him, get what he wants and play this prevent-style defense. And, yeah, you could be like, well, if they get that conversion, it's tied. I think Buffalo goes right down. Josh Allen's too good to not set them up for a field goal attempt, which maybe Tyler Bass misses. I know kicking would decide the game. It did not. And on the Buffalo side of things, I was impressed, especially by that defense. I mean, it was pretty clear, and it's been a big reason why I've brought up Matt Milano's name so much, but his impact on this game, to me, he was the MVP of that game. He was all over the place making the stops. And even when he wasn't making the tackles, he was just causing so much havoc on those running backs, and whether it was Derrick Henry or Justice Hill in pass protection, where he was just making Lamar scramble uncomfortable. So, that is definitely something that Buffalo was missing out early on in the year. And I think he will be the X factor for them when it comes to that game against Mahomes. I mean, he's going to be the guy that you're probably putting on the spies on Mahomes, trying to keep him in the pocket, not letting him get out of there. And he's a guy that may match up with Kelsey a lot. And I'm sure they'll have Teron Johnson on him a lot, but it'll be interesting. But that's what really impressed me. And, I don't know what to expect in that AFC Championship game, but hey, Bills got it done. Did. It's still crazy to me that Vegas had them as underdogs in that game.
Yeah, that was my thought process. It's essentially a pick 'em, but I'm like, you know what, dude? It's in Buffalo. They have not lost in Buffalo all year. And yeah, on paper, I do think the Ravens were a better team, but it's just so tough to go beat Josh Allen and that team in Buffalo, dude. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go with the Bills. I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm going to stand by it. They got it done, man. And it was a great game. A 2-point game is what you'd expect. You flip that spread the other way. It should have been Buffalo -1, I think. They were the home team, and, Vegas is right on it. But
well,
no.
It also tells you, if the game was in Baltimore, the Ravens would have been almost a touchdown favorite. No, they would have been. They would have been 7-point favorites if it was in Baltimore.
Because you get 3 points for being the home team. No, 4.
Yes.
No, 4.
If it's neutral, it would have been 4. It's 3 for neutral, and it's another 3 at home. They would have been 4-point favorites if it was a neutral site. They would have been 7-point favorites if it was in Baltimore.
Dave? That's crazy to me.
I was just going to jump in. I was trying to fact check that the other day when you sent the pod. And yes, to your point, it should be like that. But I don't know if it necessarily plays in a factor for playoff games and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone would have fucking hammered Bills +7. That line would have moved. That line would have moved down very quickly.
Going off of the math, it would have been. But I agree with you. Probably it does come to be situational at times.
I think regular season games, yeah. I think that's kind of how sports books would typically draw up the lines. But with playoff games and other factors, I don't know. Because it does sound ridiculous, right? The Bills plus what was it? What would it have been? 7, right?
No,
I mean,
yes.
It's a lot.
But I guess it's also like the money, where the money's coming in is what drives the line one way or the other.
Yeah.
I guess looking at it, the line. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The line opened as Buffalo as 1-point favorites. So with that being the case,
that means
Baltimore
would
have been opened at 5-point favorites, which still is substantial.
Yeah, 5 points with these two caliber of teams would have been substantial. I would have hammered
It just
Buffalo
means all the money was coming in on Baltimore. That's all that means.
Yeah. But hey, we got a Chiefs-Bills rematch, man. Whew.
We do. And then the Ravens side of things, I mean, you have to run it back again. I mean, I guess their biggest thing would be, getting another wide receiver in there. I mean, it's definitely evident, and they missed Zay Flowers in this one. And Bateman, I shouldn't have disrespected him. I was giving him a little bit of disrespect when, talking about these cores. But honestly, like, this is his breakout year, so you'd hope that he can repeat it next year. I mean, he had a lot of touchdowns this year, but that does hurt you, going in with him as your number one wide receiver. So that would be my biggest things. I mean, defensively, Baltimore's still very good because they really did. I mean, they shut Buffalo down in the second half. It really just came down to them losing the turnover battle 3-0.
Yeah, and Buffalo won this game with Keon Coleman having one catch for 5 yards and Amari Cooper giving you a goose egg.
Yeah.
The receiver that you took the first pick of the second round and your big trade deadline acquisition, you didn't even use him.
Well, Shakir is the one. I mean, he actually is very nice, and that's the even
7. Yeah,
and he cooked Humphreys, the slot corner, who was the second team All Pro too. So that's also impressive. So Shakir's a very, very underrated player.
Yeah, Shakir's solid for sure.
Shakira.
All right, that wraps up our recap, Reagan. Any last words from you, man? We got a big prediction pod this upcoming week. Only 2 games, so we need more questions out of you guys coming up in this next pod to help fill some time. We love chopping it up, the opportunities that we get.
Yeah, please submit questions. I mean, they don't even have to be related to the playoff game. Like, we love, they could be NFL draft questions. They could be anything. It doesn't have to be about the 2 games coming up. Just anything to spark some debate or just to get an opinion on it. I mean, hey, man, I'm happy to give out dynasty advice for your dynasty leagues. I mean, let's not forget. I mean, I play in a league with Dave and Colin, and I've won the past 2 years, so I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to that stuff. And I'm a guy who went from being a rebuilding team. I mean, you could call me, the Washington Commanders, the route I took, or you could call me the
How
Kansas
do we get on
City
this
Chiefs.
tangent, dude? How do we get
I'm
on
just
this tangent
basically saying that
what the hell are we doing here? You're just blabbering, bro. Just stroking your own chain. Like, let's we're trying to close out the pod here. Follow the breadcrumbs, dude. Follow the breadcrumbs. I'm trying to get close out the pod, and you're just spieling about your bullshit.
Salty dog. I said follow the breadcrumbs, not give me the salt, brother. But yeah, so the questions could be about anything because, like I said earlier, obviously I've won my dynasty league.
What gives a shit? Keep submitting questions.
I had to do it.
Support the boys. We love you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you later this week for the fucking championship weekend predictions.